'Tis a late arrival for the late arrival. Chapter day. I didn't do that yesterday, so it's Tuesday instead of Monday, and it's a late arrival with the late arrival of the person. Anyway.
It was only late because you were too hungover.
Ha 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 ha. Anyway, it is now book number 4 that we are on. Holy guacamole. Book number 4, which is Reaper Adventures. Protection. I figured I'd draw one of the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse on the cover, because raw. Oh no, you're fine. But I don't want you... Anyway. we all know not to bring your kids, because it's... Oh, he's going to kill machines. Don't bring your kids, because we all know it's not kid-friendly. So, it's not kid-friendly, it's mature audiences only. We all know there's no sex scenes or written curse words. That does not mean I will not say a curse word, or however many I want to. But there are, there's a fight scene between the Reapers and first 3 horsemen of the apocalypse. I say the Reapers, but it's the little group of Reapers that we have come to, know. There's a scene of abduction, mention of torture and 1 or more scenes of torture, and there's also a mention of alcoholism. So, don't bring your kids. Those are the reasons why. Anyway, moving on. We're only going to do the prologue and chapter 1, as usual, of Reaper Adventures Protection, because that's what I always do when I start the new books. So, I'm surprisingly drinking no caffeine. I'm drinking milk. You can look if you want. It's milk. Or as a joke would come across, it's a White Russian. But, no, it's milk. Anyway, we're on the prologue. So, prologue and continuing. War rifled through Payne's wallet and studied the social security number card and the identification card. His names do not match, War observed. Famine wasn't interested. Pestilence glanced at War and waited for an explanation. His last names, anyway, War mumbled. How is that? Pestilence asked as Famine watched the passing individuals. This numbered card says his last name is Rosendale. This card with a horrible photograph says his last name is Fitz. War replied, showing Pestilence both cards. Famine had taken interest and studied the cards with Pestilence. It appears as if the little Nephilim is full of surprises, Famine commented as War put the cards in the wallet that he now had no intention of returning. So in other words, he stole it, as we are aware in the last book. And now he intends to not give it back, so... Yay! Continuing. Oh, milk is good. Continuing. So it would seem, War agreed as he pocketed the Nephilim's wallet. They sat down on some chairs in an open patio and realized that they had sat down at a cafe's open patio. It was too late for them to leave. A Scottish an 18... Why the fuck can I not English right now? I think my brain's getting too far ahead of my mouth, if that's possible. So we're going to try this sentence again. Continuing. An 18-year-old Scottish female, fucking finally, with dark red hair, dark blue eyes, pale skin, and a shapely figure approached them with a smile. She was a Reaper, and they knew she realized who and what they were. She handed them a menu, somehow keeping the smile on her face. Welcome to the Dragonfire Cafe. Inside is the Dragonfire bookstore and more of the Dragonfire Cafe. Oh, what can I get for you three to drink? Ao asked with a smile that she was positive looked false. I mean, technically, you can't really blame her for that because, here you are with the first 3 of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, and you have to pretend, since you're visible to the human eye, that you don't fucking know. I have a hair on my eyelid. Continuing. What is this? War asked, pointing to the fudge cappuccino. Ah, the fudge cappuccino. It's a very popular item. It's a fudge-flavored cappuccino with the options of having whipped cream, chocolate syrup drizzle, walnuts, chocolate sprinkles, and a cherry on top. Ao replied, describing. Mouth, you better fucking work with my brain, because I swear it will not be good. Describing the fudge cappuccino. Correction. Yeah. Sorry. War. Ao knew it was war. Famine and pestilence before her looked slightly intrigued by the fudge cappuccino. I suppose I could try that, War said as he handed Ao his menu. Great, Ao commented as she took his menu. She waited for Famine and Pestilence to reach a decision if they wanted anything in the first place. Famine settled on trying a caramel macchiato, while Pestilence chose to have nothing. Oh, Halloween music. Whoop, whoop. Gotta have my daily dose of Halloween stuff, cause, yeah. Continuing. Ao took each menu and went back inside. What's wrong? Bart asked Ao when her strained smile disappeared as she made a fudge cappuccino and a caramel macchiato. Bart sensed the presence of 3 very ancient monsters outside. Ao noticed Bart's expression from disguised concern to a careful blank and knew Bart had sensed the presence of war, famine, and pestilence. By disguised concern, he's pretending to be indifferent, but in actuality, he's concerned. That's what that means, for clarification. Continuing. Since the presence of war, famine, and pestilence, he looked at Ao with confusion. War, famine, and pestilence, Ao explained, and then returned to the open patio of the Dragonfire Cafe, her smile once again fixed on her face. I mean, technically she's a barista. She deals with a lot of people. That means she's learned to have a smile. Because customer service, you have to smile. And the customer is always right. As someone who worked in customer service in the past, as a cashier, most people don't like it. Even if they smile. Yeah, anyway, moving on. Bart watched as Ao had a small conversation with each of the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, as she gave War the fudge cappuccino and Famine the caramel macchiato. Ao's smile grew larger, and she then returned to the inside of the Dragonfire Cafe. Like, it said there on the outside patio. She has to go inside to make the coffees and stuff. We will continue now. So long as I don't piss them off, we should be good, right? Ao asked as her smile faded, and she looked at Bart with nervousness and a touch of fear. More than likely, Bart answered with a shrug that let Ao know he wasn't completely sure. Let's hope so, Bart said. Ao nodded with agreement and hoped that nothing would go wrong at this point in time. Yeah, you're at your place of work. You have the 3 horsemen of the apocalypse, the first 3 horsemen of the apocalypse there. Something goes wrong and they decide to get in a mood, I suppose. Bye-bye. That would be no bueno. And I really don't honestly speak Spanish, but I know a few words here and there. So, continuing. We're on chapter 1 now. Yay! And by the way, this is a very short chapter. And it kind of leaves off on a little bit of a cliffhanger, I believe, as most of my chapters do. So you all have to wait till next week, which will hopefully be next Monday instead of Tuesday. So we're going on chapter 1 now, because prologue in chapter 1, and I'm just rambling, so ignore me with the rambles. Anyway, chapter 1. War and Famine casually drank their beverages as Pestilence watched for any potential threat from the Reapers within the Dragonfire bookstore and cafe. Pestilence also kept an eye on the individuals that walked by or inside the Dragonfire bookstore and cafe. On occasion, Pestilence would inconspicuously study an interesting individual or one of the Reapers who worked here, such as Ao, Bart, Yo. Yep. Eventually, Pestilence got up. War and Famine instantly put their nearly empty cups down, prepared to eliminate anyone. "I want to try something," Pestilence told them as he went inside. Famine took watch when Pestilence reached the counter, which is inside. War took another sip of his fudge cappuccino and watched as the Scottish Reaper told Pestilence that she would be right out with Pestilence's choice of curiosity. Pestilence nodded and returned to the table as the Scottish Reaper collected Pestilence's choice and finished making a multitude of different kinds of coffees. The Scottish Reaper then came over to the table and handed Pestilence the chocolate lava cake, topped with a spoonful of whipped cream and sprinkled with confectionery sugar. Now that sounds really, really, really good. Anyway, Pestilence mumbled a reluctant many thanks, and Ao politely dismissed herself, breathing a mental sigh of relief. Pestilence had to admit that this odd cake was delicious for human food. Even the aftertaste was not nearly as bad as the rest of the human food Pestilence had sampled. War and Famine were watching Pestilence, waiting for Pestilence to spit out the odd cake. It's a lava cake. They've never had lava cake. So. Both were surprised when he swallowed the cautious piece he had taken. For human food, it is not that bad, Pestilence stated. What of the aftertaste? Famine questioned with curiosity. It tastes like mud, Pestilence replied. Not ash? War asked as he studied the odd cake. No, surprisingly, it does not even have the gritty texture that coats the throat, Pestilence commented as he took another cautious bite, fully expecting the odd cake to become as every other piece of sampled human food. Gritty, muddy ash that coats the throat and just makes you bleh. It did not, and Pestilence nodded with a sound in the back of his throat. Would you two like to try? Pestilence inquired as he swallowed the second cautious bite. He waited for a short amount of time, and Warren nodded with confirmation. Pestilence handed him the fork. Warren took a cautious bite of the odd cake. It was not horrible. Not at first. Warren studied the odd cake and felt the slow coating begin in his throat. He knew Pestilence was having the same thing happen to him. Famine had not tried the cake and realized that War and Pestilence were no longer deceived by the cake. They now had the normal aftertaste of all of the human foods they had sampled. Muddy, gritty, ash. War and Pestilence washed the coating in their throats away, and Pestilence stared at the cake with disappointment. Excuse me, I burped. I should create a virus, Pestilence mumbled. As amusing as that would be, it would be more trouble than it is worth with 4 Reapers within the walls of this building, War said. Pestilence knew War was right. So there truly are 4 Reapers within these walls, Famine commented. War made a sound of confirmation. One is so faint it is hard to sense them, Famine stated. He has concealed his presence with magic rather than his spiritual energy, War told Famine and Pestilence. How do you know that the Reaper is a male? Pestilence asked War with mild confusion. I know the names of those taken in times of war, Reapers and humans alike, War replied. Norman Stein was the last Reaper to come into existence during World War II. A high priest at the age of 15 and came into existence at the age of 19, War said. Famine and Pestilence studied War. As I stated, I know the names of those taken in times of war, War repeated with indifference. War, Famine, and Pestilence paid their bill and left the Dragonfire bookstore and cafe. Bario, Bart, Ao, and Norman watched as War, Famine, and Pestilence left. Bario knew they would have to inform Cerberus of this encounter. Perhaps Cerberus would know what to do and how to find out where they had gone. And that, my dearies, is the end of chapter 1, along with a prologue of book number 4 of Reaper Adventures, which is book number 4, Reaper Adventures Protection. Next week, hopefully next Monday instead of next Tuesday, it will be chapter 2. So we are aiming for next Monday to read chapter 2, and I'm trying to get a consistent schedule here, but I was really kind of tired last night. Anyway, I have some accounts if any of you are all interested. I have a Wattpad account, which is at Tempesta771. I have a TikTok account, which I have to promote more videos on, which is at AirturnCraven2. No uppercase, no space, or maybe you can find it under Tempesta Braveheart. I'm not sure, don't quote me. I also have an Instagram, which is under the name Tempesta Braveheart. No uppercases, no space, or maybe you could find it under AirturnCraven. I don't know. I have a Facebook, which I will try to accept your friend request if I don't know you, but if you turn out to be like stalker, creepy, weird, if that's such a thing, it's a thing now, I'm gonna block you, but I'll try to accept your friend requests if I don't know you. You can find my Facebook by looking for the name AirturnCraven. I have a Snapchat, which is confusing as to why I have, but I have a Snapchat, which is also under the name AirturnCraven. Do I have a sparkle on my face? I do not. Okay, I thought I did. Which is also under the name AirturnCraven. No uppercases, no space. And we're watching my YouTube, which is under the name Tempesta Braveheart. So it was a little bit late in uploading this chapter, and sorry for that. I hope you all enjoyed a wonderful federal holiday of Martin Luther King Jr. Day, because that was yesterday, and I was asleep yesterday night. So, yeah. Anyway, Monday. We're shooting for next Monday for Chapter 2 of Reaper Adventures Protection. So, in that case, the prologue and Chapter 1 are complete. Chapter 2 will be on Monday. And I told you why you shouldn't bring your kids, because it's not kid-friendly, and I told you why. And I gave you the accounts if you're interested, so... I also did tell you it'd be a short chapter. I'm just kind of rambling. Peace out, Girl Scouts, and enjoy the mental hilarity.